Your main man returns today, live and in living color. The only man going to run wild without a safety net right here. We're going to talk about RPG Notes, Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, within the Ring of Fire. Any game that you want to get your hands on, how to make the game fun. It has nothing to do with any game in specific, but we're going to talk about a lot of the keys you could use, particularly if you're a new game master, if you're young, if you're new to the hobby, to the industry, you're trying to run that game and you want to go, wow, I really want this game to get over. I want it to be fun. I want it to be entertaining. I want people to really be able to enjoy and get with what I'm doing. I want the players to go, at the end of the night, go, wow. And as a game master that gets a lot of wows, it's an awesome feeling, and it never gets old. It never sucks. But you can see the hard work, the effort that you put into it. It comes back just as simple as, wow, that was great, or what have you, and you know they're hooked, you know they're into it, you know they want to come back next week over and over again. That's a really important thing. But before we get there, for those of you who have not done so yet, I'm talking about Within the Ring of Fire Saga Book. 77 throws, available at hardback or softback. Feywind, the first 3 books for Within the Ring of Fire. Feywind, the first novel for Within the Ring of Fire. You can get those all right now in hardback or softback, in PDF, whatever you like, or drive through RPG. You can hit your main man up right here, or hit me and main man on Facebook, and you could get a special bundle PDF package. Get those books, play them, and they will revolutionize the way your RPG group plays. I will guarantee you that right now. Talk about immersive level gaming on a whole nother spectrum, on a whole nother level. Now, let's talk about what you want to do. You're brand new to the hobby, or you've been in the hobby for 30 years, and let's face it, you just haven't found out how to do it right yet. Or you're doing really well, but how do we push just a little bit more? What you want to do is pull those players and make them have fun. Engage them. Look at their character sheets. Find out what they're doing. And when you're looking at what they're doing, their character sheet will tell you so much about where they want to go, their backstory, the skills they've chosen, the powers they have, the abilities. And when the players know that you're going to reward them for what they take. And that also means penalize them. Okay, if your charisma was really bad, or you don't have stone masonry, or what have you, don't let them just go over on that. Like, jack them for what they don't have, and all of a sudden they will see intrinsically the value of those things. And you reward the choices they make. You reward choices with negative consequences as well, because you show, okay, this is what your character is, this is what they could do if we define those scopes and parameters, and we let you enjoy them. I'll tell you this, players don't really mind being jacked. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I probably should have bought that, but I didn't. But now we got to come up with a reason why. Why can't you do that? Why don't you know that? Why are you not able to do that? And that might lead right around the whole thing of the player investing in the game and learning it, and coming up with a new plot line and a new story and a new hook. And it's so important. It's quintessential to create new plot lines, to create new ways that you could do things in the game, and to really innovate and energize your players. Now, when you're playing with people, for me, one of my big strengths is passion. I mean, it just emanates right out of me when I'm running a game. But if you pump it up, man, and you bowl it over to the players, you could catch up your wallflowers. You could catch up your people who are those subtle innovators, those people that aren't with that style. It doesn't have to be pro wrestling, brother. You know what I'm saying, dude. It doesn't have to be that kind of pumped up. But if you bring that passion, that sincerity, that engage, if you look them right in the eyes, and you bring over that sincerity, and it carries through in your voice, and you're describing those scenes and just letting them drip with detail so the essence seeps into the minds of the players around your table, boom, it's going to be rock and roll at its own, and you can run those pulse-pounding, pumping scenes and throttle them, and then you drop it back from 150 miles an hour to nothing, and let it linger, and let it sink in, and then bring it back. Changing pace is a wonderful way to allow your players to have fun. If they're always here, it doesn't matter, you know, what you're pumping at. It's going to get boring because it's the same old thing. You know, pound it fast, hit that smash, grab, car chase scene, and then drop it down to 0, and have that heavy soliloquy, introspective, that deep role-playing connection where you're building up your non-player characters, your embers, where you're making them soar into the ethereal heavens and allowing them to become sort of center stage, and then you could push over and allow the players to step into that spot and really spotlight them and show their skills and show their talents and show what they've done, what makes them cool. Find the cool factor in any character, whether you're a player or a game master, and spotlight it, show it, pull them into the scene, and let them get that over. If they really want to make a character who's the greatest damn pottery maker in the 7 cities, let them make that and put it over, reward it, and show it, and let something be cool out of that, so that they don't feel like they just have to run a certain way. You don't want to just incentivize, a style where it's just fight, or something like that. You want to just get over every nuance, everything that they want. If they're like, wow, I really want to be cool, and my character can speak like 10 languages. Don't, just let somebody undermine that with like, oh, well, yeah, but it's fine that you speak all those languages, but everyone speaks common all the time. The goblins, the ogres, the giants, the Thrycrins that live out there. Oh, yeah, they speak common. It's Bob the Thrycrin. No, I mean, if that player has Thrycrin, let him get some advantage out of it. Let him use it, because let him be the one that could be in that scene, the only one that could be with the Thrycrins, that could talk to him, and maybe they don't eat him because he picked that language. Maybe the goblins don't, and you shouldn't always have something set up like that, but the possibility of bringing those things in the forefront and really turn the interest level of the players. Like, wow, my choice really matters. And when your players feel that, they begin to trust you. The more your players trust you, to not jack them, to reward them, to entertain them. And I don't mean hand them skags of treasure. I mean take their choices and make them valid. You could beat them down. You could punk them out. You could beat them like a dog, baby. You understand? But when they know to say, no, you're going to reward their choices. You're going to give them over. You're going to bring the story back around where they get to shine. And it's fine. Get all the heat on them you want. Do everything you can. Players can lose, and you can make loss enjoyable. You can describe it. You can be narrative. You can share the collaborative narrative experience where you allow the players to have some degree of narrative. Okay, this is your castle. Describe it. This is your family's ring. Describe it. This is what you did in combat. Describe it. You just killed the orc. You just swung across the balcony. You just did an interesting spell. Let's talk about it. Let's describe it. Let's get that narrative. Let's paint the picture together. Let's embrace that ethereal space and really bring a game together that is amazing, because that's what we're shooting for, the best possible game. At least that's what I shoot for. And if I'm in a game, I'm going to do what I can to try to make it better. I'm going to try to pump it up. I'm going to try to make it entertaining. I'm going to try to entertain the people around me. And if you play like that, if you do that, you're going to find yourself not looking too hard to find games. For me, I have people knocking all the time for games, and you want to be in that slot, to be in a position where people really want to play with you, and you want to have that idea and that courtesy as a game master where you are. I really want to make that very clear. Not like, here, have a magical Pegasus and 900 magic items. No, I mean, that stuff isn't right at all. Give them a scene, paint a picture for them, and then let them grab some colors and add to it. Allow them to have those special scenes, those strange dream sequences, that odd otherworldly experience where they walk to the other side of the mirror and see just what's in there. I'm talking about Nagus, my friend, and I think you may well know what lurks on the other side of that mirror. We're talking about the gray waste of Gehenna, or wandering into some brand new city or a bizarre shop, running into a situation like that where you could really bring whatever it is about that character home. So you want to spotlight them, you want to showcase them, you want to allow them to show to the other players what's cool about the character. Give them that time. Are you a soap opera actor and you're playing Vampire the Masquerade? Bing, bang, boom, here's your soap opera scene. And you set it up and you go, boom, go, 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 go. And let them in there. Let them work their gimmick. As a player, you want to make sure you know how to work a gimmick. You want to be able to get in there, and there's no reason you can't pull up a Wikipedia page like, oh, there's a Master Mason. All right, read, 5 pages worth of stuff on masonry. It'll give you enough stuff you could go, well, this and this, and my character has this kind of hammer and whatever, and that can really bring that extra level of detail home that you want to give your game master. And it shouldn't be a game of give and take. It should be a game of give and 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 give. And that's when, man, that energy starts spinning around to an incredible degree, and you're all locked in that same space, and it just starts popping. It is wonderful, and everyone's hot and piped, and you want them coming back next week. You want them bothering you during the week. Oh, what about this? Or if I said this, or can I do this, or can I buy this, or can we do this, or do we get this next time? Or I want to do this and go here and do this. And would you have that? Would you have that frenzy, that frenetic pace, that desire, the demand from your players to do just what they want to do? That's really a wonderful thing. And you get that by listening to your players. Read what they write. Bring those characters from that backstory in. Do something with their family. Give them things that they're going to enjoy. Watch them, pay attention, and solicit feedback at the end of the game. So then when you're at that position, you can say, hey, what did you like? What do you want? And you can keep listening, and you can keep figuring out what they want to give them an interesting, entertaining story. Generally, it comes down to this. What players don't want is a +9 longsword and that sort of thing. What they want is that face time, that special scene, to see that you care enough to sit down for some time and create an elaborate idea for them. Or maybe it just popped off right there, and it worked, and it was passionate. It was a drenched description or an incredibly interesting one-on-one situation they have with an Ember, with a non-player character, what have you. A certain story or a plot line, or when they push a certain direction, you're like, okay, fine, let's rock and roll. Let's go down that path. Let's explore and see what that's like. And when you do that, your players, once they trust you, that's going to be a great thing for your game. You don't want players to be in a position where you're doing things that they don't trust. You're like, oh, well, you didn't say you picked up your +9 sword, so I guess you lost it 5 countries over. Well, wait a minute, I would have just picked up my sword. I didn't know I had to. Oh, no, son, no sword for you. Oh, but I mean, I would have probably just have picked it up, or maybe one of the other guys would have seen my sword. And, I mean, no. They should have said something. That kind of ridiculousness can really put players in a position like, oh, or when you try to take advantage of a mistake that a player makes, that could be a real problem. This video, parts of it were inspired by my boy, and I've linked his channel right in here. I'm talking about DBJ, if you will, not DMJ, but DBJ. He's I don't want to say fairly new, but his channel, I don't think a lot of people have discovered it yet, is really a wealth of information. The guy knows a lot of stuff about what's going on in RPGs. So I'm going to link his video in the description box here, which I think I've already done. So go check my man's channel. I watched 3 or 4 of his videos. I think you'll like it, and I think you'll like it, so you subscribe. If you do, tell him your main man sent you over to him. And really just think about that as a game master. How can you make your game as much fun as possible? Because that's, at the end of the day, what you want. For me, it's keeping them in character. It's keeping the pace pounding and then shifting gears. It's engaging them. It's looking and reading them. It's soliciting feedback. It's finding out what they want. It's producing that. And it's finding out other avenues, feeling around, and bringing home an interesting game. We could have philosophical debate, and then a grisly violent scene, and then a car crash, and then we can have some, like a spying espionage scenario. We can have seduction, and we can have romance, and we can have revenge, and all these wonderful things can mix together to hold an entire tapestry of a story that's wonderful. You want to make sure you don't forget any of your players. You want to try to work them all in as best you can. You're going to play the hot hand more often than not, but make sure the cold players are getting in. Make sure the wallflowers are getting in. Figure out ways you can pull them and spotlight them. Come up with ways you can make other characters that mirror them, non-player characters, embers, that can bring across other aspects of them, other aspects of their story, or showcasing the light path if they went darker, or the dark path if they went lighter, and to show these things and to really bring home exactly that other aspect of their character, and it can really be entertaining and interesting. So there's been your main man telling you again, pick up your copies of Within the Ring of Fire today. Join us, Raw Immersive Games, the Facebook page. We have 2 of them. We have a page you can comment on and one you can like, so hit them both up. Check us out on Facebook. Join the conversation that never ends, because the fire will never die.